Ever wondered why you make the decisions you do? Ever wished you could think more clearly, make better decisions, and understand why others do what they do? Welcome to our AI book summary of Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. This exceptional book presents the two distinct systems in our mind and the way we think, occasionally leading us to solid decisions, while at other times causing significant blunders. On this channel, we specialize in crafting AI-driven book summaries of the most impactful books, empowering our subscribers to gain invaluable insights from these books before deciding to invest in them, ultimately saving their time and energy in their search for personal development resources. So, whether you're a busy professional, a student, or just someone looking to develop your mind without spending too much time, these summaries can be a game changer. So get comfortable and get ready to journey into the labyrinth of your mind to question the traditional patterns of your thought process. Have you ever acted on impulse and regretted it later? This question is a perfect introduction to the concept of System 1 and System 2, two distinct modes of thinking that govern our choices and actions. System 1 is our fast, instinctive, and emotional mode. It's the part of our brain that allows us to make quick decisions, often based on gut feelings or automatic responses. Imagine you're walking down a dark alley and you hear a sudden noise. Without thinking, you might flinch or even start running. That's System 1 in action. System 2, on the other hand, is slow, deliberate, and logical. It requires more effort and is responsible for complex problem-solving and critical thinking. Consider that moment when you're trying to solve a challenging math problem or decide on the best investment strategy. That's when System 2 takes the wheel. These two systems work in tandem to help us navigate through life. System 1 is our default mode. It saves us energy by making quick decisions based on our experiences and instincts. But while it's efficient, it can also lead to errors, especially when we need to think more deeply about a situation. That's where System 2 comes in. It's our brain's quality control. It steps in when we need to slow down, analyze, and make more deliberate decisions, but it's also lazy. It prefers to stay in the background and let System 1 run the show unless it's absolutely necessary. The interplay between these two systems plays a significant role in our decision-making process, influencing everything from our daily choices to our long-term strategies. We often rely on System 1, our automatic pilot, to make quick decisions. But when it comes to important matters, we need to engage System 2, our inner analyst, to make well-reasoned choices. So why does this matter? Well, by understanding the dynamics between System 1 and System 2, we can become more aware of our thinking process. We can learn when to trust our instincts and when to question them, when to act quickly and when to pause and reflect. Understanding these systems is the first step to making better decisions. How do biases influence your everyday choices? This question might seem straightforward, but it's a rabbit hole into the realm of cognitive psychology. Each one of us, regardless of our level of self-awareness, is susceptible to biases and heuristics that nudge our decision-making in subtle ways. Consider this. Do you tend to rely heavily on the first piece of information you receive when making a decision? This is known as the anchoring bias. It's like throwing an anchor into a sea of information and letting it pull you towards a certain direction. For instance, when negotiating a price, the initial number tossed out can set the tone for the entire negotiation, even if it's far from reasonable. Another common bias is the availability heuristic, which prompts us to base our judgments on the information that's most readily available to us. Like a spotlight on a stage, it illuminates certain aspects of our reality while leaving others in the dark. This can lead us to overestimate the importance of information that's fresh in our minds and underestimate the value of what we've forgotten or overlooked. Let's not forget the confirmation bias. It's like having a personal cheerleader in our minds that roots for our pre-existing beliefs, often leading us to cherry-pick information that supports our views, while conveniently ignoring anything that challenges them. These biases, among many others, shape our thoughts and decisions in ways we often don't recognize. They are mental shortcuts, saving us time and effort, but sometimes at the cost of accuracy. And here's the kicker. We can't completely eliminate these biases. They're hardwired into our brains, but we can become more aware of them. We can challenge our first impressions, seek diverse perspectives, and take a moment to question whether our snap judgments align with objective reality. In the words of Daniel Kahneman, The first step towards reducing biases is to acknowledge them. So let's take that first step together. Let's acknowledge that our minds, while marvelous, are also marred by biases. An awareness of these biases can help us make more rational decisions. Are you more averse to losing $100 or gaining $100? Why? This is a question that brings us to the concept of loss aversion, a key idea in behavioral economics, brilliantly explained in Daniel Kahneman's Thinking Fast and Slow. Loss aversion refers to our tendency to prefer avoiding losses to acquiring equivalent gains. It's the reason we feel the sting of losing $100 more intensely than the joy of finding the same amount. This innate bias can heavily influence our decisions, often leading us to make choices that may not be in our best interest. For instance, imagine you've bought a concert ticket for a band you love. On the day of the performance, you fall ill. You're not feeling terribly bad, but you're definitely not at your best either. Despite not feeling well, you might still push yourself to go, driven by the idea of not wanting to lose the money you spent on the ticket. It's the loss aversion at play. Now, let's introduce the prospect theory, another cornerstone concept from Kahneman's work. Prospect theory suggests that people make decisions based on the potential value of losses and gains, not the final outcome. It's not just about the money you stand to win or lose, but how you perceive and frame these outcomes. Let's say you're given two choices. One, a sure gain of $50. Two, a 50% chance to win $100. Despite the expected value being the same, many would go for the sure gain, highlighting our desire for certainty and our aversion to potential loss. Understanding loss aversion and prospect theory can empower us to make more informed financial decisions. It allows us to recognize when our instinctive biases might be leading us astray and adjust our choices accordingly. So the next time you're faced with a decision, remember these concepts. They might just help you make a smarter choice. And that's the beauty of these theories. They don't just exist in academic papers and scholarly discussions. They're part of our everyday lives, influencing our decisions in ways we often don't even realize. So let's use them to our advantage. After all, knowledge is power, and understanding how our mind works is a powerful tool in our decision-making arsenal. How does hindsight bias affect your evaluation of past decisions? This question brings us to two intriguing psychological phenomena: hindsight bias and planning fallacy. Both of these can significantly impact our decision-making process and lead to over-optimism. Hindsight bias, also known as the "I knew it all along" effect, refers to our tendency to perceive past events as having been more predictable than they actually were before they took place. This bias can distort our memory of past decisions, leading us to believe that we made better predictions than we actually did. It's like watching a movie for the second time and feeling that the plot twists were obvious, even though they caught you by surprise the first time. It's crucial to be aware of this bias because it can create an inflated sense of our own predictive abilities. This can lead to overconfidence in future decision-making and a lack of learning from past mistakes. Remember, the past only seems clear because we already know the outcome. Next, let's talk about the planning fallacy. This cognitive bias refers to our tendency to underestimate the time, costs, and risks of future actions while overestimating the benefits of the same actions. In other words, we tend to be overly optimistic about our plans, leading to unrealistic expectations and often disappointments. Think back to the last time you planned a project, a vacation, or even a simple task like cleaning your house. Did it take longer than you initially thought? That's the planning fallacy in action. We often fall into this trap because we base our plans on best-case scenarios, neglecting potential obstacles and delays. So, the next time you're planning something, consider the planning fallacy. Try to anticipate potential problems and account for them in your planning. This can help you set more realistic expectations and increase the likelihood of achieving your goals. Being aware of these biases can help us plan more realistically and evaluate our past decisions more accurately. So let's continue our journey of understanding our minds, one concept at a time. As we conclude, let's reflect on the key takeaways from Thinking Fast and Slow. Kahneman's insights into our two thinking systems, the quick, intuitive System 1 and the slow, logical System 2, illuminate the mental processes that shape our decisions. We've explored how biases and heuristics like anchoring and loss aversion can sway our choices, often without our conscious awareness. Concepts such as prospect theory, hindsight bias, and the planning fallacy have shown us the pitfalls of our cognitive wiring, encouraging us to approach decisions with a more mindful, informed perspective. What we've covered today is just the tip of the iceberg. Thinking Fast and Slow is a treasure trove of profound insights into the human mind. If you found value in this summary, the full book offers a deeper understanding that can truly transform your decision-making habits. AI Book Summaries is here to guide your personal growth journey, offering concise, engaging summaries of impactful books. By subscribing to our channel, you're choosing to invest in your own development, inviting wisdom and growth with each video you watch. For those of you who want to dive deeper into Kahneman's world, we've included a link to purchase the book in the video description. Remember, each book you read is an opportunity to expand your understanding and improve your life. Take control of your personal growth journey. Remember, transformation is in your hands, one habit, one book, and one video at a time. Every second here is a second towards wisdom. Every second here is a second towards